it is impossible to isolate yourself from relationships, connections, communications from the people around you. But I think one thing very important to understand and to center yourself with is for you to understand being a good person has nothing to do with being nice all the time. You need to set your boundaries. In every single relationship you have in your life, because some people, when you give them an inch, they will step onto your head. It's unavoidable. Facing pressures and desperations in their lives, sometimes they need to take advantage in all the situations. And in that game, by being nice and too good, you're not going to win. So you need to know when to step out and set the boundaries and set, this is too much for me. I am not going to accept that. It is true that we all try to be the best person that we can with each interaction we have in our life circles. But we also need to understand that we all have our different journeys and we all have our individual needs to fulfill. And sometimes the best way to give support, caring, and love to the people around you is to be selfish and taking care of yourself first. Because if you fail to do that, your life will fall apart. Your center, your confidence, your ability to interact with the world would have no baseline to stand on. And that is not a good place to go about life. And I have always been very conscious about the work environments and the relationships that I choose to be in. I operated my human interaction and relationships on one singular principle, which is simplicity. And I want every interaction to be as simple as possible. I don't like to ask for favors, but when I'm in difficult situation, I'll reach out for a conversation. And when life's push me to a corner, I will push myself to the best I can to not asking for help from anyone that I know have the ability to help, because I don't want the relationship to be whole in certain perspective of me owing someone something. It's not to say that I'm not willing to give them the help they need when they need it, but I want all my relationships to be a clean one, which is we all have the ability to take care of ourselves. We don't ask for financial helps when we ourselves have the ability to overcome that in time, as long as we get better from our failures. And I think that keeps the relationship simple. And most of the time, just by having a conversation, a lot of my friends, they will just offer me help like I did for them. And the best I can do is to accept them. But I literally operate in a system where I never ask for very material helps from my friends, because I know in heart that pressure and circumstances will contaminate the relationship. I know that a lot of time people, when facing existential life situations, they must ask for that kind of help. But for me, I have never run into that situation, and I hope I never will if I operate in my life wisely to, keep them in a stable, controllable situations. I don't think I will ever need to make that request. But I know sometimes accepting helps without asking is also a strength, and the confidence that you have in yourself, you knowing that with this gift, you are going to honor them, you are going to give back everything you owe them, and you're going to get better from this point on. That is also something very essential for all of us to learn. Whenever we need to cut off the people that we once were so close in our lives, it can be tough, but at times it is needed because we grow in our separates, and there is imbalance in the relationships. Sometimes even without further communication, you can see that it is clear for you. It is time for you to leave the relationships. And I think we all try our best to live in a good terms, but sometimes you can't avoid the ugly chapters in your communications, immature history that is going to happen. But I think we all try our best at the time. So I think at some point we need to stop blaming ourselves and try to amend that maybe several years later. Say your sorries. Say all the things that you want to say when things cool down. Take that time, take that space to give each other grace, to grow from the situations. I think it's also very important. Sometimes you just need to let time to take care of the hurts and the irrational emotional expressions. So I think, sometimes it is good to just keep a distance and let time deal with everything. And I think one of the very fundamental things I learned from all of my relationships with my friends and family is that we really all have very different values and the definitions of what a successful life looks like. And I have learned to accept that. That's why I had a lot of conversations about respecting your own timing, but at the same time, respect the people around you of their own chapters too. When I was younger, a lot of time I would think to myself, why can I feel a deeper connection with my friends? Why they want different things? Why I don't understand why they want that? And why can't they do better? But the definition of better, it is in my own perspective. So I have no right to ask that question even. And they don't have to explain that to me. And vice versa, I don't have to explain myself to them of the way I choose to go with my life. And I don't think you need a 100% connections and communications within all your relationships in order for them to grow and to be nurtured. Because I think a lot of times it is good to let some words to be unsaid and just quietly accept that and avoid some conversations, because you already know the people around you about their values, their perceptions about their own lives and relationships. So why don't you just accept that and follow your own? Be at peace with that and just carry on and cherish the time and space that you are able to have with them. Because as an adult, you will understand that everyone is pretty kept out within their own capability to manage their own growth, their life, their relationships, the careers, the pressures, the conversation they need within themselves, and the space that they need. The time you can get to spend with the people you like and feel connect with just getting, less and less. So I think instead of trying to force something that is unnecessary into the relationships, I think more acceptance, more understanding on yourself and the people around you will give a much smooth sailing journey in between all your relationships. You just need to let go sometimes. Let go of your expectations on your friends, on your family. Let go of the wants and needs to want it to be accept and understand in a deeper level. Because a lot of times, maybe what your friends and family can offer is just loyalty, support, and presence. And I would say that is more than enough. Like I always say, don't put too much on their plates the same way you wouldn't want them to put the same weight on you. I think acceptance and respect is and understanding is very important in every relationships. I remember feeling quite shook inside when one of my good friends tell me that all she wanted to do with her life is to eat, drink, party, and have fun. And at that exact moment, I just feel this deep disconnect, disappointment, and emptiness in my heart, because I was shook for the reasons why that it is exactly what I don't want my life to be. Because for me, having fun is to be creative. Having fun is to have a way to express life, to communicate with the rest of the world. But most of my friends, they are very capable and professional in their own profession already. They are unlike me. Owning my own business and operating my free time, pursuing my creativity. That's not how they live their lives. They just gave them all with their jobs and their career, and the rest of the time they just wanted to relax. So we're basically in the different structure, on their life, and I think it is quite alright. Even though back when I was young, I would feel this disconnection. But now, as I grow older, I understand that people all want different things, and it is absolutely okay. You just, cherish what you can get from your relationships, and the rest you really need to carry on with your own strength and your own persistence and your own efforts to make your own vision realize that it's not their responsibility to understand. You just need to find other outlets to communicate the other sides of you. I think as people, we all have so many sides of us, and quite often than not, we all talk about different perspective on life with different sets of friend circles. And I think to recognize that, to allocate your friend group for certain kind of conversations is also quite important to avoid the frustration that you might get when you're having the wrong conversation with the wrong group of people, when the wrong group of friends, when you know they just not that kind of person. You don't start that inspirational, living for your dream and vision kind of conversation with them, because you get frustrated and just end up feeling disconnected with the ideas that you wanted to communicate. I think you need to understand all your friends in a very deep level to give them your acceptance and understanding in order for the relationship to grow, in a much healthier place, instead of try to push them to understand what they just don't. I don't think it's going to work, because it's just not for them. It's just for you. And I think it is okay. As long as you know what you're doing with your life and your time, why everybody around you have to understand them all? There's just no such need. You just need to be centered in who you are and what you want, and be dedicated, be disciplined, and make all of your visions and dreams come true. And that's good enough. And that's not of the responsibility of the people around you, even within your own family members. And I think within all the relationships that nurture us and broke us, it all leads back to our own growth. How did the relationship taught us about ourselves? And eventually we need to get back to the work of becoming the best versions of ourselves. So in the future, no matter who or what kind of relationship we will, get connecting with, we will be more centered and have more acceptance and understanding of what we can offer and what we want from each relationships that we're willing to spend our time to investing in. But most importantly, we always first need to focus on our own growth and live our life the best we want, envision, and dream about. That's how we can bring into our relationship with more meaningful conversation, with growth and achievement. So, it gives it more spice in all your relationships. So eventually all relationships all leads back to your own growth. And whether or not you hurt someone or someone hurt you, you learned a lesson, you got better, you say you're sorry, you say your goodbye the best way you can. And just always to remember that in this life's journey, what matters the most is how you want to experience your life. Life is such a precious gift. We have to always remind ourselves. Always try to give yourself something new and exciting to try, to do, to learn, to evolve. I think that's the most important things. And the rest, sometimes you just have to let it be, and to always keep yourself centered and know that you are here for reasons. And the most important things in your life is to fulfill that reason and purpose for yourself in order for you to be the best that you can be for all the people around you and for yourself.